This poem when I was deeply immersed in my Lobby for Love movement. And if you don't know what Lobby for Love is, just go online and type Lobby for Love, lobbyforlove.org, and you can read all about it. But in a nutshell, my biggest struggle in life is self-loathing. And I tell you, it is a real struggle. It's easy for me to love other people, but it's not easy for me. Or actually, that's actually not true. That's a lie. It's not easy for me to love other people. It's not easy for me to love myself, and it's not easy for me to love other people, because people frequently have let me down in the past, and have done awful things, and so it's not easy for me to. I don't operate from a foundation of love. I try, but it is very, very difficult. But the worst, my hardest, the biggest struggle is self-love. I am extremely self-critical. Extremely self-critical. It's quite destructive and quite bad, actually. And the reason I started Lobby for Love was, or the thing that gave me the idea to start Lobby for Love was in 2016, the end of 2016, I had become so self-aware of my negative internal dialogue that I knew that I had to do something about it. I knew I couldn't go on thinking these things and saying these things to myself inside my head. And so I decided that I would keep a journal of my internal dialogue, so that I could get a better understanding of the things that I was saying to myself. And I did. So it was like my 2016 New Year resolution. And so for the first week of 2017, I basically walked around with a pen and a notebook, and I wrote in it. Every time I had a negative thought, every time I said something bad to myself, about myself. And a week in, it was already making a difference a week in, because I got to the point where I became very aware then that I was saying negative things to myself, and I was thinking negative things. And so every time a thought formed, I would basically pull out my pen and I would kind of say to myself, I dare you, think it, and I'll write it down. And so I was able to stop. So there were the first few days when I was writing madly, and I was writing all day long and all night, even waking up at night writing things down. And then a few days when I wrote nothing down, because I had the pen and I was threatening myself, don't you dare say that, or I dare you to say that, and I'll write it down. And then I thought, well, let me sit down and let me read back the things that I've written. Now that I'm starting to become more aware and I'm interrupting these thoughts, let me read back what I've written. And I have to say that I was horrified. I was actually horrified to read what I had written. And it made me cry, to be honest with you, because I thought, you wouldn't say these things to, even if you really hated someone, you would not say these things to them, because these are such cruel things that you wouldn't say this to someone else. So why is it okay to talk to yourself this way? This is not only sad, but it's unacceptable, and it's kind of it's really, it's not kind of, it is abusive. You are, you are sort of emotionally abusing yourself, and it's got to stop. It's unacceptable. You just can't, you cannot carry on like this. Um, and and so, my brain, the thing that it is, it just is constantly going. It's like this, machine that just never stops, never switches off. And so I had this idea, to start writing quotes every day, forcing myself to write a quote every day that had love at its foundation, self-love at its foundation. And then that's how Lobby for Love started. This is when I had my original Instagram account, and I started the Lobby for Love hashtag, and people were engaging with it, and it was doing quite well. And then and I was doing quite well, choosing love over fear. And even though I was going through some difficult times, I was really, really, trying hard to lobby for love. And then I don't know why I stopped, actually. I thought maybe I had conquered it. I had conquered this self-loathing, struggle with self-love. But turns out I have not, because I stopped writing any Lobby for Love blog posts. I stopped writing the quotes because I felt like, then then a whole lot of things happened again in my personal life, that made it really, really hard for me to lobby for love. Really hard, and really hard to love other people. And then I thought, I can't write. I can't, if you can't practice what you preach, then don't preach. And so I stopped writing Lobby for Love articles and quotes, because I felt that I couldn't, in all honesty, I couldn't write about love when I was not feeling any love. I was not feeling any love for certain people and certain circumstances, and I stopped. And now, reading this poem, it makes me realize that I've kind of gone back to that 2016 moment of realization, when I realized that, my negative internal dialogue had breached high tide, and I had to stop it. And I think I'm back at that point now, where this, the struggle with self-love, it's back again. It's overwhelming, and I have to do something about it, because this is when I start doing self-destructive things like deleting my online existence, deleting my books, and just doing all kinds of crazy things, which I promise not to do. If there's one thing that I have conquered, it's that whole sort of that online thing that has been so difficult for me. So I promise not to delete any social media accounts. I promise to just take a break when I'm feeling this way, and that's why I'm taking a break from Twitter and Instagram at the moment, because I feel like I need to concentrate on the self-love. And yes, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I don't know why I'm telling you this. But there you go, I've told you. And the Lobby for Love, I can feel it's very strong again. It's something that's calling me. I need to go back, and I don't need to go back to what I was doing, but I think maybe I need to move on to the next phase of it now. And maybe that's all it was. Maybe it wasn't the fact that I just stopped and there wasn't any more, and I couldn't practice what I was preaching. I think it's more to do with the fact that that phase of Lobby for Love has finished, and I have to move on to the next phase. And the next phase for me, I think, is to go deeper, to go much deeper. It's not, a quote a day is not enough for me now. I need to go deeper. I need to understand what is driving this self-loathing, and how do I heal it? How do I disrupt? I don't want to just disrupt it. I want to get to the source, and I want to heal it. And this could be serendipity, because one of my uni papers at the moment, my final assignment is a non-fiction book proposal, which, when they told us your final assignment is a non-fiction book proposal, I was like, oh God, I didn't come to do a master's degree to write a non-fiction book proposal. I don't want to write a non-fiction book. I want to write fiction. Geez, and I was really quite unhappy about the assignment. I was thinking, oh, I don't know what I want to write, and I don't want to have to think of something that doesn't interest me, and I was really quite put out by it. And then I was talking to the tutor, and then she said something, and then I thought, oh, hang on. I think I have an idea. I think I know what I can do. I started this thing called Lobby for Love, and then I told her a bit about it, and she was like, yes, that's it. That's brilliant. That's what you should do. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I suppose the assignment and the deadline will force me to immerse myself in this again, and work on something. And so I suppose, I'll just watch this space. I'll keep you up to date. But yeah, Lobby for Love, next phase 2 of Lobby for Love is coming. And so the point of all of that is that self-love is hard, and I don't think that I'm the only one who struggles with self-love. I think there are probably many people out there, and so if you are struggling with self-love, stay tuned, and stay in touch with me, and reach out to me, and comment to me, and tell me a story, whatever you need to do, because this is important. Self-love is important. If we can't love ourselves, then ultimately we can't love anyone else, not properly, not without problems. Yes, sometimes